I committed to using the Jovs 4D laser mask for the last 4 months. So the question is, was it worth it? The big difference with the Jovs 4D mask is that it uses lasers rather than red light. And I have to say that because of the lasers, it means it goes much deeper into your skin where it can affect change. So most masks stay up at the level of the epidermis, but the Jovs mask goes to the layer of the dermis where it affects your collagen, your elastin, your fibroblasts, which means it has a greater capacity to affect the firmness of your skin, the elasticity of your skin, and it's just going to affect a bigger change at the level where it can make change to your skin. The dermis layer is the layer where cellular repair happens, where it can reduce inflammation and regeneration can happen. The dermis layer is where you reach skin pigmentation issues. It's also where blood circulation can be increased to help to get you that glow and an improved skin texture. By reaching the dermis layer, you're also going to affect things like acne and scarring from acne. So what changes have I noticed over the last 4 months? Well, almost immediately I noticed changes in my skin texture. It was more smooth and more even, and I got that glow that you're going to get from wearing any red light therapy mask. But over time, things started to change more gradually. Things that I didn't expect to change did start to change. So I noticed changes, and I'm still noticing changes in my skin's elasticity. I used to be very conscientious about the sagging here in my jowls, and this has improved dramatically. I don't think there's very much sagging here. It used to sag a lot here. So my skin's elasticity has improved a lot. The other thing that I've noticed has improved is the pigmentation in my skin. Now, I do wear foundation when I'm filming because I do feel that it helps to even out the tone of my skin. And if you film, you know. So I do have some pigmentation here, like age spots here and here. And these have definitely faded. I have also noticed that some fine lines have reduced. So I had some pretty deep fine lines around my mouth, and the finer ones are mostly gone. I do have a really strong one in the middle, but I think, we're our own worst critics, and I definitely see that fine line. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was showing her this lip liner that I have that I really like. And I said, well, I have to wear lip liner because I have these fine lines. This was just a few weeks ago. And she was looking at my lips and she was saying, what fine lines? She really couldn't even see them. So then I went back to the mirror and I looked and I thought, wow, I can't really see them anymore either, besides the one really deep one that I have. And I think even that one is less. So I have noticed a reduction in fine lines. Fine lines, pigmentation, skin elasticity, all is better. Another thing that I have noticed is that I do have hooded eyes, and I have been starting to work together with the gua sha. And because the skin elasticity, and this is something that has come a lot more and more recently, I am able to affect with the gua sha the skin elasticity. You couldn't even see my eyelids before, but together with the gua sha, I'm able to have lifted that because there's so much more skin elasticity, that there's more lift, more skin elasticity, just a better, tightness in my skin from using the red light therapy mask. A few more things I want to say. When I started red light therapy, I wasn't dealing with issues like acne. I had very good skin to start with, so I wasn't dealing with acne. Number 2, I don't wear concealer. So although I do wear foundation to even out my skin, I will say that I use far less foundation. I used to do a single pump of foundation. I'm probably down to about half a pump. I do like full coverage. I'm sort of divided, a little bit unsure on whether it's improved redness. Maybe it has, but that is the reason why I do like to still wear foundation, is that it evens out my skin tone. I do still feel I have redness around my nose and my mouth. I don't know if that's me being super picky. So it hasn't completely solved that. I don't feel 100% confident to go without foundation when I'm filming. I do when I am out and about day to day. Like I can just go, you know, with brows and mascara and lipstick, and I feel fine. My skin looks amazing. But I do just like a little bit of foundation just to even things out. Another thing in terms of fine lines around the eyes, when I used to do my eyeliner on my eyes, I would feel my pencil tugging on the eyes. It was like my eyes were crepey and it would go tug, 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 and it was hard to get a smooth line. Now, I am 52, so this is something that I would expect. I hadn't touched like a felt liner in years. I still haven't touched it. However, now I do notice 4 months later after wearing red light therapy masks, when I put my liner on, it just goes one smooth line. There's no more tugging along the lines. My eyelids aren't creepy anymore. It's smooth. So that is another thing that I've noticed has improved over the last 4 months. Let's talk about my dosage and time. So I use this every single day. I might miss a day now and then, but pretty much every single day for the maximum amount of power and maximum amount of time. So when I turn this on, you press power, and then I turn it up to the maximum power, and then I turn it up to the maximum time, which is 20 minutes. And so I wear that for the maximum time, maximum power, 20 minutes a day. I put it on in the morning when I first get up. I do my mobility routine. You can see there are some breathing holes here. I breathe through that just fine during my morning mobility and through my meditation. I might put it on while I'm making my bed, while I'm doing the dishes. It has a nice wide open eye spot, which works just fine. So you can really have good peripheral vision and see what you're doing if you want to do some household chores while you're wearing it. Let's talk about the comfort of the mask itself. This is an incredible face mask. If you're looking for it to do other things, I would say no, but look at the contours of this. It's designed to fit your face. It fits your face so beautifully. I'll put it on so you can see. Also the ease of wear with the Velcros. It's just so easy to put on and off. But it's a face mask. It works great as a face mask. It's designed as a face mask. If you want it as a face mask, then 100% this is what it's going to do. But you're not going to use it like to wrap it around your shoulders or put it on your belly or anything like that. This is a face mask. If you want it as a face mask, great. But it's not going to double up as anything else. It's a absolutely fantastic face mask. What I will say where I think Jovs for the price could have put a little bit more energy in is into this controller. This controller is just my pet peeves. It's like, for the money, why can't you tell us how much battery life it has left? This usually lasts me 3 wears, and then I need to charge it. But I don't necessarily remember that I've worn it 3 times and I need to charge it. I need a battery life sign on it somewhere. Also, I would love to know how much time I have left on it, like a little countdown timer. I think for the money, we could have had a better controller on this. So that's my biggest pet peeve with this Jovs mask is this controller. It does have a nice clip, so you can clip it onto what you're wearing if you don't have pockets, which I do appreciate. But the data on it is just lacking. So let's talk about how the changes occurred. I did see changes at the beginning, and I will say that over time, I am seeing more and more changes. Like I talked about at the beginning, I saw the changes in my skin texture and the radiance and the more evenness of tone. But over time, I'm seeing the reduction in pigmentation. I'm seeing the fine lines getting more smooth. I'm seeing the increase in the elasticity and tone of my skin. Like it's just becoming more responsive. It's looking more rejuvenated, more young. Those are the changes that I'm seeing over time. And so that's encouraging me to wear it and continue to practice using the Jovs light mask. Okay, so I think the obvious question is is it just the Jovs that's contributing to these results, or the other things that I'm doing? So I will say that I do lead I would say a very healthy lifestyle. I make sure I hydrate every day. I actually measure out how much water, I'm kind of geeky about this. I measure out how much water I need every day, and I make sure I drink that by the end of the day. I exercise, I get in the amount of cardio I need every week. I lift heavy weights. I am a yoga teacher, so I make sure I get the recovery I need every day. I meditate. So I think all of those things contribute. I eat healthy. I don't consume refined sugar, and I don't drink alcohol. I think all of those things contribute to skin looking the way it looks. I will say though that my skincare regime, even when I put it out in front of me and it looks complex, is actually very simple. So I want to go through what that looks like because I think it also contributes to it. I'm not putting a lot of stuff on my skin. So when it comes to taking off my makeup, I just use a very simple cleansing oil. This is Palmer's cocoa butter formula with vitamin E skin therapy cleansing oil. That's how I take off my makeup. And then I use this rice water bright face shop skin cleanser. The reason why I like it is because it's more of a creamy cleanser. So as I said before, I'm 52. And I want a cleanser that's not going to dry out my skin. So it gives a little bit of foam, but it doesn't dry out my skin. I'm open to recommendations for other skin cleansers that you like. I don't want to spend a ton of money on cleansing, but as I said, I want it to be good for more mature skin too. So I like that one so far. And then what I do is I spray my skin with this rose water. I love rose as an ingredient for your skin. It's really nice. It's calming. I spray that on my skin. And then I go in with the red light therapy. After red light therapy, I come out and in the mornings, I use rosehip oil. Rosehip oil is so good for your skin. And I particularly like this brand because of the dispenser. No droppers. I can't stand the droppers. They're so annoying, but this just dispenses it really nicely. And then I think this is the marriage made in heaven. I do gua sha every day as well. And I think because the red light therapy helps to improve, goes down to the dermis layer and helps to improve the collagen, the elastin, the fibroblasts, which improves the elasticity. Then when you go in with your gua sha and you lift your skin and you do the things that remove the jowls, you lift your cheekbones. You can do things to lift hooded eyes as well. You do things to remove the wrinkles from your forehead. Those things, these two things together are like a marriage made in heaven. I just picked this one up on Amazon. The reason why I got the stainless steel one as opposed to like a rose quartz one or a jade one is because if this falls, it's not going to break, and it has fallen in the sink a few times and I don't have to worry about it. I also like how cool it is to the touch on my skin. I will also maybe a couple of times a week use this face scrub. I'm also not particularly attached to this particular one, but I like a more natural one. I want one that has even scrubby things, little scrubbers. You don't want really uneven scrubbers. So this one works well. I like the smell of it, and it just gets the dead layers off the top of the skin. So that a few times a week helps as well. And then another ingredient that works really well is castor oil. Castor oil, there's tons of videos about this online. It is great at night. I use this at night. It creates a protective layer. It's supposed to be great for wrinkles. I do find it creates this really thick moisturizing layer. So I do, and it's so inexpensive. So I will say that I think my skincare regime is really inexpensive. It's really simple, and it works really well together with the red light therapy. Combined, I do believe that this skincare with the Jovs and the gua sha work really well together. I'll link everything below. I do have a discount code, of course, for the Jovs below as well. Okay, I put my glasses on just to tell you the main difference between the Jovs and other masks. I do have other masks, and I will say the main difference is in the wavelength of the lights that come out of the Jovs mask. So I just took some notes on this so I make sure I get this right. The Jovs, out of all the masks that I've seen, has the deepest penetrating wavelength lights at 1064 nanometers, long wave collagen light. And it has also different wavelengths in different parts of the mask. So 1064 nanometers wavelength at the nasolabial folds, and also around the eyes and around the mouth. So targeted, the deepest in those sort of problem areas. It has 660 nanometers for dark circles and a refreshed look, 850 nanometers on the forehead, and 950 nanometers to calm and alleviate skin redness. So I haven't seen any other face masks. I'm sure you guys will tell me in the comments you have that have such deep penetrating nanometers light waves. I haven't measured this. I don't have a light meter to measure this. You might be able to check on red light therapy by Alex Fergus and see. I know he has a red light therapy meter. You might be able to get him to check it and see if that's accurate. Okay, let's get to the questions and the comments that have come up in my previous video on the Jovs mask. So I've had somebody tell me that the Jovs mask is not a red light therapy mask, that it's a low level laser. And this is correct. The Jovs 4D laser light therapy mask uses photothermal technology, which is more powerful than LED red light therapy devices. So technically it isn't a red light therapy mask. That's true. The other question that's come up is how long does a charge last? It lasts 60 minutes through three 20-minute charges, 3 20-minute wears. The other question was around the eyes, the opening for the eyes, that it seems big around the eyes, and maybe it's not going to be as effective around the eyes. So I will say that I do like the big opening around the eyes in terms of being able to move around and do things while you wear it, and I have still seen results. I think when we talk about being able to go deeper into that layer, the dermis, then you're getting into the layers of the cells, and the cells are able to affect change not just in one place. They talk to each other, and you can listen to doctors talk about this. I've been listening to a naturopathic doctor. I'll put his name on the screen. He talks about this really eloquently. But it hasn't, as I said, I've seen a change in the tugging and the crepiness of my eyelids, even though it's not directly on my eyelids. And I believe this is because it's going down to the layer of the dermis, talking to the cells, affecting the collagen, the elastins, and the fibroblasts, and not just staying at the level, the surface layer of the epidermis, and affecting the skin, the top layer of the skin. Okay, somebody told me that I am too young to be able to measure something like a skin mask on and to be able to see difference in. I guess young is all relative. I guess if you're in your 80s and you're looking at somebody in your 50s, then maybe that's true. However, I am 52. I'm not in my 20s. I'm not in my 30s. And I am dealing with a lot of the issues that they're talking about addressing with this mask. So I've talked about hyperpigmentation with age spots that have gotten less. I've talked about the wrinkles around my mouth, the fine lines, which have gotten less. I really did not expect to see the changes in the skin tone and the elasticity and the sagging. I'm really actually shocked at how much that has improved together with the gua sha, and even in the hooded eyes too, together with the gua sha. So I guess I don't know how old this person was, so maybe I am too young, but I'm not 30, I'm 52, so who knows? The other question is around claustrophobia, because it does cover up your nose and your mouth, but I have been able to breathe through breath holes, no problem. So overall, the question is it worth it? And would I recommend using it? I found it worth it. And the thing that has been so interesting is that the longer I've worn it, the more I'm noticing these incremental changes of things that I actually didn't expect to have a shift in, like the skin elasticity, the sagginess of the skin, the fine lines and wrinkles. So yes, I think it is worth it, especially if you wear it consistently and over time. And I will say that I do have more than one mask. I'm very lucky. I'm very privileged in that I have a channel. I have other companies who have sent me masks. And when my friends and family ask me what mask to buy out of the ones that I have, I do always recommend the Jovs, because the Jovs has the highest level of light to go down through the layers. Like if they're looking for a face mask specifically, then it's the Jovs one that I'm going to recommend to them. So if you're looking for a face mask, the Jovs is the one that I'm going to recommend to you. I'll put the link below. You'll get a little discount code, and to thank me for making this content, then I get a little tiny kickback, and I appreciate that very much. Let me know if you have any other questions. I can do another follow-up in another few months and let you know how this journey is going. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.